get it approximate. You can see that'll show me where to cut with the bandsaw later on that end. I'll get it approximate and always cut less off than you need to, and then I can file back. So with that, we're ready to start doing some of the drilling on those corners. So I'll pause here and you'll see that continued in the next clip. Okay, now that we've got our piece that we're going to drill into, I wrote on this piece in just because that's the inside of the flange that I'm going to want. One of these ribs will be on the top of the rudder, and so I just wanted to mark which way, which way I'll know to fold the flanges in a little bit. So first thing I'm going to do is get a drill bit, kind of a starter bit. This bit is big enough to do the hole for where my temporary screws are going to go through the center of the rib, here and here, through the mounts of the form block, and then so I'll drill those two holes which I've center punched, and actually they're on the side, so I'll drill those two holes here, and then I'll drill these two holes as starter holes. Both of these, the plans call for bigger drill bits, 1/4 inch and 5/16, but I don't want to go straight in with that big bit. I want to get it started so I don't wobble and I get it straight. So here we go. I think the center punch is one of the best inventions. It gets your drill bit started just in the right place. So I got my two center holes done. That's where those temporary screws are going to go in. And now these two holes are going to open up just a little bit more. So I'm going to replace my bit. With my 1/4 inch bit here. And I'll go double check on the plans which one is supposed to be the 1/4 inch. Okay. I was going to double check which holes you're drilling. So this is the 1/4 inch hole. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of line it up before I start the press. And there we go. I got my 1/4 inch hole. And again, I'm going to replace this bit with the 5/16 for the other corner flange. It's a pretty decent sized hole. Yeah, a drill press is pretty valuable, obviously. If those of you are debating whether to get a drill press even for doing the tail kit, it's pretty valuable. You can get one on Craigslist pretty inexpensive, and you can always use a drill press for other things around the house, even if you don't follow through with the plane. You get my hole lined up. I'll hold my hand over here. Alright. Takes care of our holes, so back to the table to mark these holes. So now we're back to our piece. You can see the whole thing here. I come in a little closer, and I'm going to draw my cut lines for the edges of these flanges, and I know they need to be 90 degrees, and I'll draw them just to the inside of that hole. You kind of see how that's going to make out here. See, and we'll do the same thing on this edge. And this guy over here. And that will take care of where we're going to cut with the bandsaw. And we'll get this cut over here. And once we have those cuts done, we are ready to bend the flanges. Okay, here we are. We're ready to cut these lines here. So we're just going to cut around. This may be a little shaky video, but you'll get the idea with these couple quick cuts once we turn the bandsaw on. You notice I sometimes use a bandsaw before I even go filing to kind of go back and forth to get close to my line, but you can see there's still a little bit of line left there. That's what we're going to do next, is go back and file that off. Okay, now that we've got all our cuts made, we're ready to file the edges and sand them down so that this part will be finished once we bend the flanges. Anyway, I like to start with my round file and just try to smooth out that edge. It's hard to get the Vixen file in on a flange edge like this because it takes quite a bit of force to go in the right direction. If you put too much force, you're going to cut into that curve. It won't be smooth anymore. So I just like to use it like this. Doesn't take much force at all, very little force. Then you get a pretty darn nice, smooth turn there. Now you'll notice this whole time I still haven't removed the plastic protective cover on either side, and I have to say I really enjoy that because then when you're ready to install it, it's very clean. You haven't scratched the surfaces at all. Very smooth. So I got to do that on both sides. I did that one side. Helps to get the edge you're filing against up against the table. If you get your line really close to the hole, you're not going to have to do much of this. And the point here is not to have any burrs and to be smooth to the touch. I still go back and sand this afterwards. I'll kind of show you that next. And then for your long edges, of course, the Vixen file is the best. Is really a nice technique to use. And get a nice, smooth edge, really easy. Smooth to the touch is what you're looking for. And so if you go around and file all these edges, then we're ready for our final step of bending the flanges in.